Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of When It Rays, It Pours. I'm your host, Keith Ray.
What's up, everybody? I'm John Ray.
And we're fresh off our birthday dinner over at Fogo de Chao.
Yes, sir.
Dude, that shit was fire, man.
Yeah, I love that place, man. It's so good.
Dude, the lamb was out of this world. I mean, just the char on it, the way it was cooked, everything about it was just so. And I tried both kinds of lamb.
The leg and the chop.
Yeah. Man. Out of this world. Out of this world. You got one of their Brazilian cocktails, I believe.
Yeah.
Gave that a little pineapple infusion drink. Gave that a little shot.
No, passion fruit.
What is that, the orange one?
I think it's like purple and orangish. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, was a terrific dinner last night. We're another year older and another couple pounds fatter.
Yeah.
Especially after endless meat last night.
I don't know, man. I think I lost a couple pounds this morning.
What was rolling around in you from yesterday?
Yeah, I was on the toilet 3 times already today.
Damn. Like the opposite of a bear.
Yeah.
Can't be eating a bunch of stuff I don't know. I woke up not with any vicious need to run to the restroom or anything, but with terror in my heart because there was a massive geese fight going on. I mean, it was goose on goose violence out in the pond behind the apartment.
Oh, geez.
I don't think it's their mating season yet. I'm not really into like when birds fuck. It's not something I have ever read up on or anything like that. But they seem angry. They seem hostile. Do you think it might be because the pond's kind of like half frozen, so they can't really effectively hunt for food?
I don't know, man. Geese are crazy.
They've
These
been
are hood geese. Like they don't play around.
Yeah, they're like geese all hopped up on twisted tea. It's I always loved that twisted tea as a weapon or otherwise.
Drank it.
It's okay. It's a malt beverage. It's like a Smirnoff Ice, but tea and lemonade flavored. It's kind of, even the regular tea version has kind of an Arnold Palmer flavor to it. But I mean, I thought it was weird that they were like, oh, look, malt liquor being used as a weapon, like nobody's ever broke a 40 on the fucking curb before, But we're getting away from all this hot goose action. So I get up and I go outside and I see like 5 geese circling each other. There's a gander about, but they're like circling each other, and it looks kind of like that scene from West Side Story.
Oh yeah, the sharks and the jets.
They were like, and just the most vicious screams back and forth, honking and all that crazy vitriol. And then
did they get into opposing V formations?
It was choreographed. I will say that it was choreographed, but like right through the middle of all that hostility, this one lone mallard just kind of walked right through the whole thing like, not my fucking problem. He's like, looked up at me like, these ain't my ducks, These ain't my birds. No kin to me over here. And that mallard has had attitude out there all day. Just no,
he just doesn't give a fuck.
No, he's like he's like a bunch of assholes, like being loud and shit. I'm over here chilling on my pile of garbage that's frozen into one section of the pond. It's my pile. Stay the fuck off my pile, But he doesn't have to get all big about himself, Motherfucker's got confidence. And I got to tell you, John, I am feeling that confidence today because got a new shirt.
There you go.
Yeah. John, why don't you tell the people about how you got me this shirt for my birthday?
I bought it for you at Meijer.
well, why you gotta put my, like, this is a nice shirt, you know? You wouldn't think it would be at a grocery store, you know, that you bought this shirt.
I got everything.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I always like a Walmart.
Oh, okay. Well, I do love my new shirt, man. I'm excited about it. You hit me up before we went to Fogo, and you were like, hey, do you have any nice clothes? And I was like, I'm literally driving like a basket with all of my clean clothes, freshly done laundry. And I was, because in my mind, I was like, yes, I'm going to have some clean clothes to wear to go to Fogo de Chao. And but I was forgetting that they needed to also be nice clothes. Like, clean, shitty clothes is not okay.
Well, clean is, that's still part of the equation. Preferably clean.
Preferably clean, but you could wear a dirty suit there, as opposed to like a clean sweatsuit.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to dress up, but when you go somewhere nice like that, you want to try and look good.
Well, I like this shirt because it goes great with jeans. It goes great with shorts. Goes great with undershirt, no undershirt, sweatpants, slacks. It's versatile.
Yeah. Button the top button. There you go.
You got to get it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You got to get it down. I'm sorry. I don't want to appropriate anybody's culture. I
don't do that.
I apologize. In fact, brings us to our first topic. I had a friend of mine hit me up to watch a video that was done by this really funny comedian I know named Brent Terhune, where he pretty much appropriates my culture. Every time something hits the news that he can make fun of, he does this kind of, I don't know, homespun, rural American character that gets all hot and bothered about whatever's in the news. And this most recent one was fantastically hilarious video Brent put out was about the Hambro genderless Mr. Potato Head. Hasbro. What did I say?
Hambro.
Oh, I was thinking of Hambro. Have you heard? You know that
No,
that old classic.
I don't know that one.
It's like it's from that era, the whole jump down, turn around. You know, I don't know what that era of music was called.
I haven't heard the song, but I'm guessing by today's standards, it was probably racist.
Oh, well, I mean, it was written by slaves, so that probably makes it racist.
You're culturally appropriating again.
I didn't mean to, but I'm just saying, check out Brent's video about a moot point because Hasbro has decided we're putting the Mr. back in Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. I don't get it, man. Like, they wanted to try and act like they were going to be all woke and shit and just, there's no gender in our potatoes. No Mrs. Potato Head and no Mr. Potato Head.
But did you see
You're gender neutral if you're in one of our potatoes. And like, what were they going to give them? Like both packs of accessories, and then because you got to be able to at least choose your gender of your
No, that's the thing
potato.
Is you don't get to choose the gender of your potato. The way that they made all potatoes gender neutral was by making them all Mr. Potatoes. The Mrs. Potato just had as a mustache now.
I thought they were changing it to just Potato Head.
Well, it is just Potato Head, but it still has the whole little family in the pack. And there's regular Mr. Potato Head, then there's Sissy Mr. Potato Head, and then there's Baby Potato, which babies are pretty gender neutral anyway. I mean, sure, we might wrap them up in light blue or pink,
I
but
thought they were leaving it up to the owner, the 5-year-old child, to decide what gender their potato was going to be.
That's not the way that I understood the story.
I thought like they were giving you both packs, and you decide like maybe they put an eggplant in there and a new hole in the crotch, and then an extra set of lips.
No, that would require them giving your child extra toys for the same money. That's not something any toy company would ever do, because at the end of the day, they're about the bottom line. They're not about the hearts and the goodwill of children. They're about selling toys to their phone addicted parents.
Here's the thing, dude. You gotta have Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
Why is that?
Everybody starts out as a Mr. and Mrs. But once you open the box and take the Mr. Potato Head out or the Mrs. Potato Head out, then you can pick whatever gender you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's the point of it. It's a toy. Picking the gender of your potato toy, it's make-believe. Like,
yeah, it would be make-believe.
you can, just because it starts out as Mr. Potato Head doesn't mean you can't turn it into Mrs. Potato Head.
Pull one of his eyes out.
Buy a replacement pack of the Mrs. Potato Head and crisscross, get a hybrid going.
Well, that's what they essentially did. Was they had little Sissy Potato Head. It's just like it was like Mrs. Potato Head with a mustache.
They should have a hermaphrodite potato head.
Well, why? Yeah, I mean, you should at least have the option.
Yeah,
you should have a little. They could have like an implement, little penis and vagina that you could plug.
Having less potato heads. They should have as many potato heads as they can come up with.
That makes sense. It's kind of like
fill the whole set.
Like, well, if you have, like, they could have Zer and Zim, potato head. You know, potato head that comes to the party and just complains about everything.
If they want to go full woke with your potato heads, you gotta.
The possibilities are endless.
You gotta come with it.
As sure as you can make up whatever the fuck you supposedly are and make everybody call you that, you should be able to dress up your potato head and call it whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what it reminded me...
It must be mostly conservatives that are buying potato heads for their kids still because they caught that blowback.
Well, liberal parents
they
no,
we're back to having Mr.
Oh, it's
Potato
back to
Mrs. Potato.
Whoa, we weren't trying to upset Main Street with this idea here.
It was just a marketing mistake.
Well, woke parents let their kids be raised by an iPad.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like not a big deal. The conservative parents are usually poor. You know, we act like the majority of conservatives are rich people just because they vote in the interest of the rich. But it's poor people who have to buy their kid a little hunk of shitty plastic just to keep it occupied long enough so they can fucking make another one. I feel personally...
when they started out, they just gave you the pieces and you stuck them into a real potato.
Is that true?
Yeah, when the toy first came out.
So it was literally a toy for the poorest children in America, where they're like, oh, here's some little pieces of plastic for a nickel. Shove these into a real potato because your parents got potatoes around, because that's how they keep you alive, is by always having big sacks of potatoes around.
I don't see any way that can't be the truth. Like, I mean, come on. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
that's probably how they came up with the idea.
They're like, dude, we can give them a couple little forks or something to stick into potatoes and
let them walk around with the old rotten potato. Yeah. We couldn't eat it anyway, so let them
the shit out of it.
Let's have these children play with rotten food, because if it was still good during the Depression, you would have ate it. But the way I feel about it is like it brought back to my mind, like, how shitty toys are.
Potatoes right away and let them play with them for a little while, then
you could eat them anyway. Yeah, unless they run it into the door stop too many times, and then you got to cut part of it off because it's mushy now. They'd be awful bruised up. You let a kid play with a potato, they're gonna bruise it. It's kind of like a whole Lenny and the Rabbits situation when you let a child play with a piece of vegetable.
Yeah, I think it's just fucking awesome to see such a large toy company conglomerate just bend and cower to the will.
Yeah, the will of the kinds of people who storm the Capitol. You know, the kinds of people who think Hillary Clinton eats baby brains.
That got to them.
I believe it.
They said they got the lady that was the vice president of Hasbro on the Epstein Express or Lolita Express.
Yeah. She was going out there to put some potatoes somewhere they don't belong.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I did hear something too. I heard that Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever said she's got video proof of Trump and Clinton. Not Hillary. Bill being on the plane and shit.
well, Bill. I don't know if he's admitted to it, but he has been formally accused of getting a massage from an adult woman. So, a lot of evidence against him.
Yeah, I don't know. That might not be the whole thing.
Like
I forget what they said, but she had some kind of evidence against them for something. I don't know.
Well, I hope she lives to see trial.
I doubt it.
I'd really love to see that.
You got information like that, that's the type of shit you keep hush-hush.
Man, he
You
can
gotta
always just
find
go
the
the
right
fuck
people.
back to Arkansas. It's like he's got his ducats in a row. You can go to Brazil.
Dude, that
Brazil, Arkansas. It's a
Ghislaine
small
will
town.
end up dead, strangled like Epstein. She pushes on the Clintons. Come on.
I personally
Everybody
feel
knows that they're
like she is, a lovely young lady who got caught up in, the worlds of international intrigue. She was a real, just somebody who got in over their head,
everybody knows Hillary Clinton is like exactly like what's Meryl Streep from the Manchurian Candidate. Like she secretly runs the whole world.
Oh, I've heard people postulate that online. Frankly, I feel as if if Hillary Clinton is going to run the world, she'd probably do a better job than what we're seeing these days.
And all I gotta say is I know she's a bad person, but I don't think she's eating pizzas with children on them or whatever they said.
She's probably eating potatoes with
What was
children.
it, cosmic pizza?
She's probably putting the kids the mercurochrome all over a potato. we got loaded potatoes loaded with mercurochrome. It's funny to me that like the people still buy a little fake fucking potato for their kid. Like this is a world we have virtual reality, and you're still
Yeah, get them an
selling.
Oculus.
Get them a toy gun so they can pretend to do what they're inevitably going to do when they get to school and have a real one.
Yeah, I wonder what the sales of Mr. Potato Head are.
I was not interested in any toy other than a toy gun as soon as I found out that they made toy guns, because you can sit there and watch people get shot on TV all day and pretend you were the one that shot them. It's fucking perfect imagination. It's everything an American child needs. You just get them the toy gun, sit them in front of the TV, and have them shoot the bad guys. You can turn on the news. They can play the same game.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what channel you turn it to.
Dude, at
They're
least,
shooting bad guys.
Play Fortnite or something.
Yeah. I've heard that that's good for hand-eye coordination, these
Yeah, I
video
guess
games.
Mr. Potato Head didn't come out until 1952.
Oh, dang. That's post-depression. They had plenty of potatoes.
Yeah.
They had so many potatoes come 52, man, you could let your kid play with dinner. It's
Was
not
it
a big deal.
First toy advertised on television.
Really? Just think, when they were
See,
coming up
the
with...
toy was originally produced as separate plastic parts with push pins that could be stuck into a real potato.
That's what...
Bam!
You called that?
Fuck yeah.
That's
I
what's
was
up.
making that shit up. It
Whoa.
makes sense, though.
You guys all know what that sound means. It's time for Black Person of the Week. BPOTW.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it will be March, but right now, today is still February, and that means we got one more installment of the Black Person of the Week.
That's right. Black History Month will have ended. It will have been the end of Black History Month.
It'll be
by the
sad
time
to
this
see it
comes
go.
out. Yeah, I'm. But hey, International Women's Day, March 8th, we'll do another Black Person of the Week.
Well, March is actually Women's History Month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Looks like we got a whole lot more installments of Black Person of the Week coming up because God knows black people had it worse than women. Anyway,
Well, yeah.
John, let's get to it, buddy. You tell the folks a little bit. Do we have any honorable mentions this week?
I'm still saying Daryl Hall, but
You know, he was. I actually heard a song, "One on One," by Daryl Hall or by Hall & Oates. One on One. He has a vocal run in there. Make Beyonce slide off her bar stool. I'm telling you, like this shit was like up in the falsetto and then just this kind of cerebral up and down this little arpeggio. It was fucking beautiful, so soulful.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, if Sarah's smile ain't got soul, then nothing does. You know. But dig up James Brown, because I'm telling you, Daryl, honorable mention 2 weeks in a row goes to Daryl Hall. But who's this week's Black Person of the Week, John?
This week's Black Person of the Week is Mr. George Edward Clinton Jr., born in July 22nd, 1941.
Okay.
In Kannapolis, North Carolina, and he grew up most of his childhood in Plainfield, New Jersey.
That's where he began to own barbershops and produce doo-wop music.
So you think you know who I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure I've got an idea.
You got it. It's the Prime Minister of Funk, Dr. Funkenstein himself, George motherfucking Clinton. Yeah, so big surprise. So, as we said, he started the group, the Parliaments, when he was a teenager. They were influenced and inspired by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers.
And the Teenagers? Oh, really? Frankie Lyman, that was the child star, one of the first child stars.
So, he starts the doo-wop group, and they're working in a barbershop, and eventually he becomes part owner of the Silk Palace barbershop, and they would sing in this barbershop and cut hair in the barbershop. But,
yeah, it was kind of a party in there.
Yeah, and it was kind of a meetup spot for all these musicians. And then, of course, they eventually moved to Toronto, start releasing records in the early 70s. Been through it all in the past few weeks. I'm good. But, so obviously I've talked about all the records and all that. But it's just such an influential person, like, in music. Like,
yeah,
so many different genres that he's been a part of, and as a producer.
First musician to have rainbow hair, legitimate, real rainbow hair.
Yeah.
Tekashi 6ix9ine can sit the fuck down.
Yeah, he needs to chill.
Fantastic funk musician and just a revolutionary businessman. Somebody who took the idea of we can invest in ourselves. You know, like every time the records did well, they put more and more into the stage show. Every time you put more and more into the stage show, more and more people came out to the shows. The records sold even better.
He would probably tell you he didn't become a good businessman until he was well into old age. Because they spent so much money on all those stage shows with all the UFOs and all that shit and fucking 10 different wardrobe changes.
Not to mention,
it was
50 tabs of acid a day isn't cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he would sometimes borrow money from his musicians to buy drugs. Like, right after he paid them, he'd ask the backup singers, the Brides of Funkenstein, he'd be like, hey, lend me 50 real quick. It's just...
He'd pay everybody and then be like, Hey, can you spot me $20? Spot me $50.
And he always had money disputes and shit with members of the band. That's why they'd take hiatuses and then leave and come back. And
well, I mean, it's kind of hard to keep straight when you got a fucking army of high musicians to take care of.
All had side projects, and he had pieces of all that. So he was making money, but he was spending it all. But that's another thing. That's one of his biggest influences is from like West Coast rap.
Oh,
like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, all that.
I mean, G-Funk.
Yeah,
it was all
came from Parliament Funkadelic. I mean, probably 75% of the songs were fucking P-Funk samples. Like it's outrageous.
Doggy Style, probably the greatest West Coast rap album ever made.
I think on probably almost every song has some sample in it.
P-Funk, and then they'd throw this really cool keyboard with the whammy bar on the keyboard on top of it, and they developed their own sound, out of it. But I mean, literally, G-Funk is an homage to P-Funk in and of itself.
Well, and they'd sample like Zapp and Roger too, which is another offshoot from, P-Funk.
That era. I mean, the influence is very obvious.
Were affiliated.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Because Bootsy Collins is from Ohio. That's where they're from.
Oh, so
like they weren't on their records or anything, but they produced them and shit.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. And I love Zapp and Roger.
But he worked with people like Prince. He produced a Red Hot Chili Pepper album. But yeah, when the rap shit came out and everybody started sampling, he said, this is a quote he had, he said, "Sure, sample my stuff. Ain't a better time in life to get paid than when you're my age. You know what to do with your money. You don't buy as much pussy or drugs with it. You buy some."
You buy some.
Just buy some.
Just buy some.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, he's got to be a super wealthy man now. Just from the samples.
And he knows...
I'm sure he doesn't have any of the money from the 70s.
He's definitely wise enough to know the truth, which is that if you can have all the money in the world, but no pussy, no drugs, you're a poor man.
Shit, no.
Fucking, I'd take George Clinton's life over Warren Buffett's any fucking day.
Yeah, it's...
Warren Buffett never came out on stage in nothing but a goddamn tablecloth and hung dong in front of 9,000 motherfuckers, okay, with some press perm hair, like a big dark fucking Cat Williams in that bitch, high as fuck.
Yeah, but their live shows were just fucking outrageous. So fun to watch and listen to the music. Like pop a couple edibles or a couple mushrooms and fucking...
Oh, Bootsy and the Rubber Band opening for them down in Houston is one of the coolest videos I'd ever seen. That version of "I Want to Be with You."
I'd rather be with you.
I'd rather be with you.
Well, there's a P-Funk concert from the same night.
I know. I'm just saying. There's so much of that band out there, and all the.
Then they all come out and play together at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nuts. But it's like probably 6-hour shows or something.
But like people that are younger, probably
think Bruce Springsteen puts on a good concert.
It's not an event like P-Funk back in the 70s.
Hell no.
Well, a lot of the younger people, I'm sure, probably think of George Clinton as kind of a bigger guy. Like, he got a little heavier in his older age. But when he was young, that dude was a fucking sex symbol from the neck down. Okay? I'm not saying he's an ugly man, but he's not a classically handsome man. But he had a fucking porn star body back in the fucking day, dude. Anyway.
I just stick mainly to the music and the performance.
You're not checking out his body?
No, he didn't sing gospel, so I don't think he's really up your alley.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, man. I mean, I've seen him a couple times, but one of the best experiences of my life. I saw him in probably 2004, 2003, 2004 at a small little venue over by the Fashion Mall.
Okay.
And it was like standing room, general admission. Like there's no assigned seating. And they had Incredible Hulks for $11.
Hypnotic and Hennessy?
Yeah, VSOP, Hennessy, and Hypnotic for $11. So I had about probably 9 of those. And I was wilding out. Like, it was such a blast, dude. And I fucking was able to climb to the front and get up on stage. I get up on stage while his granddaughter is doing a rap along with one of the songs. I go straight up to him. He bro hugs me, pats me on the back, and says in my ear, "You my dog, man."
Hell yeah.
And if you know George Clinton, that's probably the best compliment he can ever give you.
Yeah.
You my dog, man.
If your dog's with George Clinton, you're doing something right in life.
Yeah, so that's it. Cool. Hug the granddaughter, too. Security comes, grabs me, just puts me off the front of the stage. Easy peasy, dude.
They didn't like throw you or anything.
No.
They were just like, "Hey, buddy, back on."
They didn't kick me out, nothing. Then I drank a couple more Incredible Hulks.
Hell yeah.
And it was a badass show.
Was that when they were trying to get people up on the stage to get in the spaceship?
No,
this was just
people weren't supposed to get on the stage.
you were just like, "I'm getting up on that stage to hug George Clinton."
They're like, I was in the crowd getting wild, and I elbowed this girl, and she looks over at her boyfriend. He looks at me. I'm like, "Sorry." He just goes, "Man, it's cool."
Hell yeah.
You could tell his girlfriend like wanted him to fight me. I was like, "Man, I'm sorry."
Well, there's just when you go to a P-Funk show, it's not people sitting around having dinner, cocktails, listening to the music. Everybody's up, everybody's dancing. It's people in wheelchairs dancing.
Well,
They fucking throw that fucking shit out the way and start getting down on stumps. It's like an electric vibe through the hearts and souls of everybody in the place.
Then I was working at a restaurant back then. I was serving a customer in the bar, and it's a dude that I kind of knew, and kind of a hippie dude, and he looks at me and he said, "Hey, man, were you at the George Clinton concert last week?" I was like, "Hell yeah." He was like, "Dude, I was there. I saw you get up on stage. You're freaking crazy, man." I was like, "You ain't the first one to tell me that."
Well, once you got that Hulk confidence, bro, you get on another level. John might play Mr. Mumbles on the radio, but he gets funky. He gets dancing.
No, but it would be like the happy Hulk that doesn't want to smash, but he's still kind of big and clumsy. Yeah, other than all my dogs, that was my best night of my life.
You mean when you got your dogs?
Yeah, whenever I adopted them. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Well, so this episode, we congratulate Dr. Funkenstein, George Clinton, what was the other one? The Prime Minister?
Prime Minister of Funk.
As our final installment of Black Person of the Week for Black History Month.
Yep, let's see, I think it was like 15 or 16 of them that got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So there's like 12 more, so we'll need like 3 more years.
Okay.
I'll start doing the lesser knowns.
There we go.
You had to get the top 4.
And we're gonna piece those out when we're supposed to be celebrating other people.
Bernie Worrell.
Because frankly,
Bernie Worrell probably on the next year's list.
But what about if we do one for National Women's Day? We could hit those brides of Funkenstein.
I thought you should probably do 4 women for Women's Month.
Oh, you wanted me to do 4 women for? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
I know more about black people than I do about women, so
okay.
That's why I took this one.
All right. Well, I accept the challenge, John.
We'll talk about
I'll
it.
come up.
Just an idea.
I love it. I'll come up with a segment. It'd probably be a little bit better than talking about how the geese were squawking so much. I don't
up to geese.
I mean, but the thing is, since
I like the premise.
since life started getting so good, man. Life started getting so good. I don't know what to fucking bitch about, man. I'm mad about certain things. I go to the grocery store, I get fucking mad. You been in a grocery store in a bad neighborhood lately? Or just our neighborhood lately? Either way.
No, not really.
I went to a kind of lower income areas grocery store, and I saw that they've got police working security at the self checkout, and it's like, you go to any nice part of town. Sure, is there an attendee there at the self checkout? Sure. Is there maybe even a security guard there at the self checkout? Sure. But put the police in the nice neighborhood checkout. I mean, first off, they pay more taxes, and also, second off, they don't need to steal the food as bad. It's like, if you really are hungry and need to steal some food, you're going to jail. You're not going to be asked not to come back to this particular Kroger. You know what I mean? Or Ralph's, or wherever the fuck you are, whatever it is. You're not gonna get you're on a list now. You're gonna get taken to fucking jail. It's the people who need to steal the food the most who have to suffer the harshest consequences for doing it. And that pisses me off, because all I'm trying to do is go in and steal some smoked salmon, because while I have money now, I just can't justify paying for everything if I have to check myself out.
You're really into that smoked salmon lately.
Dude, well, I was telling Dad, man. I was telling him about these cop security guards, these piggards that go around, pigards, going around ruining people's lives over a fucking loaf of bread. I'm bitching to him on the phone, on behalf of this underprivileged community, and it hit me. I can't find blue cheese crumbles. Everybody has their suffering. You know what I mean? We all suffer. Some people broke. Their life is in shambles. They're fighting like hell just to get by. And I couldn't find blue cheese crumbles for my steak.
Why couldn't you find it?
All they had was fucking crumbled goat cheese. Like, I need that bullshit in my life.
Where do you go?
Kroger, down off East Washington.
Mm.
Yeah. It made me realize, like, the security guard game's becoming a racket for the cops.
Well, some of it might be the way that they're designed, too, the stores. Like, some of them, it's kind of a little easier to sneak out with shit, too.
But if you need to sneak out with food, that's okay. We all pay a little bit extra so that people who need to steal some fucking Go-Gurt, so their kid has a fucking snack in the afternoon, can steal some Go-Gurt. Everybody's chill with that. Especially in these days. Like, in these times when people's income is getting hit.
Higher at stores that get stolen from. They have to offset that loss of income.
And
so
thus
they raise their prices.
And thus the people have to pay more.
So the people that are stealing have to pay more for the shit that they pay for. So it all evens out.
It all comes out in the wash. Yeah. But, that's just what's been on my heart lately, because I don't. It's not like
there's a security guard there or not.
Either way, that cop was on her phone, and I stole that smoked salmon right in front of her dumb bitch face. So I'm happy. The key is
nobody from that store watches this podcast, because you did just name the store and admit to stealing.
You take the 2 packs of smoked salmon, ring the 1, put them both in the bag. You know what I'm saying? pay cash. You're wearing a mask. Get the fuck out of there. I think we should keep wearing the masks indefinitely, and I'll just keep paying cash everywhere I want to steal
those
from.
Masks aren't going away anytime soon. Although I have heard good stories about the progress of the vaccinations and shit. So,
well, South Park's behind it, so I'll get it. It's got my support. I support anything that they support because those guys think the way I wish I did. I'm a little too ate up from years of chemical abuse to really full circle it the way they do. But we find ourselves on several similar tangential roads. I do want to bring up, though, speaking of masks and people who benefit from wearing them, these old people down in the fucking villages got a documentary made about them. Did you hear about this?
no.
Well, you know what the villages are, right?
Yeah, it's like a retirement community for like fucking swingers, dude.
Well,
Like
it's just a retirement community, but a lot of people do swing down there.
I heard they were throwing those private parts around down there.
Well, they have been in the news for having like a large concentration of chlamydia and gonorrhea.
They got all that shit.
Mostly just the STDs that leave you with a thick, filmy discharge.
Probably some of that gonorrhea.
But basically, I heard that there was like a guy in this documentary named Dennis Dean, old Double D. And Dennis Dean is like something out of your fucking nightmare. You know, he's a scumbag of the oldest accord. Essentially, Dennis Dean is like a playboy for old women. What he does is he lives in a fucking van down in at the time when they filmed this thing. He lives in a fucking van, and it's like not an Astro van, but that era of van, you know, where it has the panel windows, and it's like a big shaggin' wagon fucking van that he lives in. Clearly, he's had it since it was brand new. And what he does is
late 80s, early 90s.
Yes.
That's the type of van you're talking about.
One owner, this lunatic, who prowls bars and pools, lots of places that are like free to go because he is a fucking leech of a human being, looking for older women who might have not necessarily a lot of money, but more money than him that he can mooch off of and provide company to, and you know, probably a little muff diving, you know, lick some of that hot salty Florida snatch. Basically, he's just a dirty old man that lives in a van that wants your grandma's check. You know,
How old is he?
He I got the info on him right here. I'll pull it up real quick.
I can look it up.
83 years old, Dennis Dean.
83.
He's a California drifter who cruises pools looking for women to upgrade
to work
his
on
lifestyle.
his game, dude. Like,
he's not an ugly man, like for an old man. But isn't he just an old scumbag?
yeah,
Doesn't he just look like
a Hawaiian shirt on?
like they're gonna
And a
cast
straw hat.
Don Johnson to play this
Well,
motherfucker?
this dude needs to work on his lawn game. Like,
why are you still in a van?
yeah, get in one of those houses for good.
Well, I mean, he's about that money.
Well, get enough money to get a better van.
But the reason he's in the Tampa Bay Times today is because he is no longer in the villages because this documentary came out and put a monkey wrench right in his fucking game. They threw that right in the spokes, dude.
They dry snitched on him.
Dude. Well, he's like in this documentary, like, yeah.
Bragging about it. He didn't think anybody in there would see it, huh?
This is my life. I smoke 305s in this dirty van. I'm everything Farley warned you about. What's up?
Dude, it's freaking crazy, man.
I'm trying to steal from old ladies.
I think some of the people that live there aren't super old, like just retired age, you know.
Well, I mean, that's fine. And I don't
Either
know.
way,
I don't
they're
know.
old.
I think that they have like a
But
55
if
and
he's
up.
83, he's got to be going for the older ones.
Well, I mean, at 83, he looks pretty good for 83. He looks more like
he's
73.
gonna take whatever he can get for that money.
I mean, maybe even 70. He looks
is
more
a
like 70.
prostitute, so
He's a scummy old man gigolo. I don't know. There was like part of me that like for 1 second was like, okay, I've got options in retirement. Like it doesn't have to be just pushing the puck around the shuffleboard until you fucking collapse. There are things you can do that might actually be interesting and fun.
he's got to have money too if he's been maintaining that van for all this time.
I don't know. It's an American-made automobile
Dude,
from before the computer age. It's probably got pretty cheap parts.
Keith, it's not like this isn't a situation where they said they don't make them like they used to.
You're
Like,
right. You're
back
right.
then, when they made that van, they didn't make them like they make them now. Like, dude, cars nowadays, you don't need to get the oil changed for every 3,000 miles. Their engines are so good and the oil is so much better quality that
Sometimes
you go
5,000, 6,000
miles. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just know old Dennis Dean.
That van, it's needed some servicing over the years. I'm guaranteeing it, dude.
I'm just glad Dennis Dean had to move to a different community. You know, like he could have stayed in the Villages for the rest of his life. There's so many
Dude,
lonely
move on
old
to the
ladies
next
down there.
Retirement community.
Yeah, no.
There's plenty of them down in Florida.
He reached out. He reached
Got
out
a
to
Boca
say
Raton, dude.
he's not in the Villages anymore, but he is still out there.
He's definitely out there.
That's what he said.
He's definitely out
he's
there.
out there waiting to fuck your meemaw.
Jesus.
I just was like, wow. I thought like me and some of the comic dudes out in LA, because like if you don't put out for money in LA, you're missing out. You know, like even guys like me, Gigolo. And really, it's not like they're giving you lots of cash, but they're buying you smokes and food and booze. And I even had one big old fat broad line up a Coke in the shape of a heart. You know, it's like, you know, you let them spoil you, and you're not really into them or attracted to them. But like to just be like, well, I live in this van. And I cruise the pools for chicks. It's like, he almost sounds like he's 16 years old, you know, as opposed to 83. Like,
Yeah, I'd love to hear when he explains when he pulls up to their house in that van. And they're like,
he's
like,
got
"It's a
social
classic."
security. He's got social security,
It's a
like
classic.
minimum social security is like $775 a month. What do you need to steal from old ladies for?
I don't know.
Just tell your meemaw to
At
lock
least
the
he's-
door.
At least
you
he's
know?
really performing the act, though. At least he's not catfishing her on Facebook or something and getting her to send him money in Western Union and bullshit.
Yeah,
You
that's
see a
true.
lot of that shit.
Yeah, old people falling prey to somebody who, oh,
Yeah.
they have a normal person's picture on the Facebook. Oh,
Yeah.
they liked my photo a few times. Oh, they sent me a message. Now they start a dialogue. The manipulation
Yeah,
kicks
his real
in.
name's Ivan, and he's part of the fucking Russian mafia
And he just
in
got
fucking Chicago or
you
something.
just got your inheritance. Well, just don't. What I'm saying is, people out there should be aware that fucking guys like Dennis Dean exist. They couldn't have left it out of the.
He's not gonna exist for much longer. He's just really fucking old, dude.
That's
He's
true.
probably
He's
gonna
gonna die.
soon.
He's gonna die, and that'll be the next time you read about him in the Tampa Bay Times.
No,
It's
he's
in the
he's
fucking
gotta be-
obits.
He's got to be moving to a different part of Florida, dude. He can't even do St. Pete. Like, we're just gonna get around down there. He's
it'll
got to
travel.
go maybe Orlando, head over to the other coast.
He could maybe go deeper down the Panhandle. He could go maybe
Boca.
like no Boca. That's over by Miami. Could go more like
I thought you said further
Gulf,
south.
like
Oh, you mean
no, over further down the Panhandle.
Oh, the Panhandle.
Like over by Pensacola or maybe some Panama City
Panama
Beach.
City. That's kind of his flavor. Like, I'm sure the old folks' homes are like the spring breakers of Panama City. Like, the trashiest ones.
Yeah, you go to the old folks' home. They're bonging beers. After water aerobics, we're having a wet T-shirt contest over here in the courtyard. Fucking, and those old women, like, they still have their massive tit jobs from the 80s. They got their
We're having a wet moo contest.
we're having a wet moo. Dorothy, she still got those big moon hooks, all cockeyed like bowling balls with one eye or with one hole in them. She's gonna wet them down for us by the pool.
Yeah, but it's just like retirement homes and shit here, except it's like more like communities, and they got more activities and shit because they got all the outside shit that we can't do.
Well,
here,
in
like
the villages,
winter.
everybody has their own house.
Yeah,
And then
that's what I mean.
eventually you sell the house to pay for the nursing
but
unit.
they have that here too, but it's just more kind of like a group thing down there. I think like the types they have up here, it's more people just kind of do their own thing. I think. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I think they're fucking getting down in the villages, dude.
Well, they got the discharge, they got the dean, they got old double D Dean.
Obviously, dude. Like they probably all the people that live there are probably like, man, maybe he can come back.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
They might start to miss him. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
if I'm not like, filthy, obnoxiously rich from selling tickets in the next year, I bet you I could go down there and rob these old ladies way better than old Dennis Dean. I'm like, they might see me coming though,
They'll definitely see you coming.
Well, I mean, because
You're
of
not
my,
conspicuous.
but I mean, see me coming as like, somebody who's gonna rob them of their entire life savings and cut town. But the key with Dennis is like he just gets a little bit and then moves on to the next girl. These are chicks that play bridge
Dude, I
together.
guarantee
He's
you-
working his way through whole cliques of bridge players.
Every time he heads over to one of those women's place for a date, he's playing fucking David Lee Roth in his fucking van, just fucking singing along to it. Just a gigolo.
Oh
just
yeah.
a gigolo everywhere I go. I ain't got nobody. He looks like he'd be that type.
Yeah.
Like dancing along with it in his fucking van, got the fucking fuzzy dice hanging from the fucking shit.
Yeah. That he later
looks over at it and goes,
that he later takes off and uses as a pillow against the window because he fucking lives in there.
in between broads.
Yeah. Oh, he uses that to wipe the pussy juice off of his wrinkly old balls after every encounter in the van.
He uses the evergreen air freshener for
I didn't
that.
even think about this, but he's probably fucking some of these old ladies in the van, which means some old ladies are still down for a van fuck. Rock and roll, Florida. I'll tell you right now, they're not going to let this virus stop them. They're not going to let paying taxes stop them. They're not going to let the fact that cocaine's illegal stop them. They're sure as shit not going to let...
I don't know.
Let a van queer them off a fuck.
I think most of it's probably in their beds.
Maybe. But a man can dream. And as long as I'm here dreaming, I'm dreaming of old ladies getting fucked in the van.
Dream all you want. Just wait till I leave.
Dream all you want. Well, I think that's going to do it this week. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. We hope you enjoyed last weekend's special episode. Trying to fit all these Black History Month episodes in Black History Month. We failed by about 4 days, but oh well. Keep watching.
They were all recorded.
Keep watching. Hit like and subscribe, and tell your friends about us. Word of mouth's the best advertising.
You my dog, man.
You my dog.